welcome back to the Harbingers D&D campaign. Woo! We are so excited to be able to come and do this final session before our holiday break. You may notice that I am up here on the player side of things. My camera broke again. Not gonna sugarcoat it. Yeah, it does not like me tonight. Glaring at the camera over there. But just a reminder that the Harbingers D&D campaign, we will be returning on January 19th. So we're going to be this will be our final session before the holiday break, where we won't be posting any Harbinger specific content at all during that time. And then we will be returning back to continue the story January 19th, which you will definitely want to be coming back and to, well, continue the story because our heroes still have yet to uncover what's going on with the comatose patients. On that note, we do have an announcement to make real quick. I'm going to turn the time over to Sierra. Take it away.
Okay, so we just wanted to let you guys know that there is a cool new 5e homebrew book that our friends at Kobold's Brew has released. You can learn more about them on their YouTube channel as well as their Twitter social media page. But what's cool about it, it's called I'm really bad with names. Aran's Archive of Fractured Realities. It's a very extensive homebrew book with a bunch of new races, a bunch of new classes, 2 new magic systems you can incorporate into your game, as well as some very high-leveled monsters. And there's just so much in there that you can spend a long time delving into it. And you can get yourself a copy of this book on the Dungeon Masters Guild website. And I believe it's $35, but it's a lot of content. So you're getting what you're paying for.
Mm-hmm. And if you guys want, can
sorry.
I add on to that? If you guys want to
Yes.
see some of this content play tested, we are going to be doing a one-shot session using the materials out of this book. We're looking at next year doing this one shot. So date still to be determined, but it'll be fun.
Beyond hyped.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. So, yeah, I think that's all the announcements so far.
That is correct.
Yeah, we'll be returning on January 19th. So, in the meantime, keep checking out Rosemary PG Studios for more fun content. Our Instagram and our Facebook, check us out. Yeah. And we'll wish you happy holidays at the end of the episode, but let's get in and let's just dive into the story. So, who had recap today?
Well, that'll be me again.
Hey!
So, last session, the party split up and went looking for Amaris, and we were able to find her outside of town in a little field, practicing sword fighting on her own. Nuri hung back, Dusty went forwards and talked to her, and Amaris was very defensive, held the sword up to Dusty the entire time they were talking and kept looking at Nuri nervously. And Nuri, despite trying to give them some privacy, without really thinking about it, still read Amaris' lips and knew what was going on. So she's very bad. She's an eavesdropper. Nuri decided, okay, I'll leave the conversation. I'm making her uncomfortable. Turned around and got trampled by some goats that Douse was trying to hold on to. And the party was reunited in that field, which led to a kind of awkward conversation that then Nuri revealed to everyone in the party that she had made contact with her son, who's in a coma. She tried making contact with Dane, the D&D character, and that didn't quite work, as well as that she had made contact with her husband, which then she learned Amaris was awake for pretty much the entire conversation, so oopsies. Yep. So nothing was really resolved. Nuri's low-key turning into an alcoholic. It's kind of a problem. But hey, she's apologizing and opening up to people. So progress? Maybe? I don't know. The rest of the session was used for essentially research, except for that Dusty was able to attend the hearing of, I want to say it's Gwen, but that is definitely the wrong name.
Garm.
Garm, thank you.
Yep.
He went to the hearing of Garm, and Garm was pretty much let off for the most part, 2 months in the stocks, and then he's banned from magic for like 2 years. And Dusty gave some money to the town guard, and that was great. Amaris learned some epic lore on her magical weapon and placed on our player map, which was pretty cool, a new empire that we've just learned about. What was it? The Tidia dynasty. My bad, it's a dynasty. Which was pretty exciting. And that lore was all about how this person went on an epic quest to get revenge for her family and went back to the village, but the orcs who had killed everyone had now made homes and had children of their own, and she couldn't bring herself to do the same thing they had done to her, and she left her weapon behind.
Correction. And that was a fictional story.
Oh, that was a fictional story? My bad. Lore still.
A fictional story, but still lore.
Still
All
lore.
fiction comes from reality. Somewhere.
Exactly. And it's still placed the Tidia dynasty on our map, so, we'll take it. Amaris learned potentially the correct word to access the power of her magic weapon, and Nuri went down memory lane in the library, found some books she helped with, and got no help from her personal research, found a book on spells for Door Explorer kind of stuff, and found another book by Garbadar Shubashah, who's definitely a cultist and is kind of freaky now.
The real lore.
The real lore. He was scary. But otherwise, nothing very helpful. But the big lore that was super exciting was Douse's lore. He went and he learned about his bracelet, which, for those who don't remember, contains whey in it and is a patron for his warlock side of his character. And he learned that whey is not just some mighty being. She is, in fact, the legit heart of the sea, the heart of all water, I guess, actually. Which raised a lot of questions about different water and water effects, but none of those were really answered, except that she's actually very, very important. And yeah, that's where we ended, in the library. With a butler and a candlestick. I'm just kidding.
In the library with the murder weapon.
Oh. Beautiful.
Awesome. Okay. Well, without further ado, we will dive right back into the story where we left off. And yeah, you're in the library. You've all finished reading your book. It's getting a lot later. It's later in the evening at this point. Megan, you went out to go swing and test your sword.
Yes. Let's see if this works. So yeah, Amaris is going to head back to the outskirts of town because she doesn't want to accidentally hurt anyone. That already happened in just one night. She's not about to start something like that again. So she is going to go out to the outskirts of town. And when she's, you know what, high or low?
Me?
For who?
For DM.
Ooh, okay. let's do a high.
All right.
This is whether or not Amaris aspired to the town.
All right.
It's
So
a family thing.
with that, she is going to go back to the clearing that she was just at. And once she's out of town, away from people, she's going to pull out Time Piercer, just kind of like fiddle with it in her hands for a bit, and then she's going to say Tidia.
Nothing happens.
And she's just like, okay, you know what? Makes sense. It was a fictional story. It'd be a fictional word. What was I thinking? And she has found nothing. She doesn't want to talk to Nuri. So she's just gonna go walk around town.
Okay. You may walk around town until the lights fade and you all return back to the inn for the evening.
One last thing Nuri actually would have looked at in the library is just a map to see where, what was it called? Lake Mount was in the Versailles dynasty, specifically.
Okay. Yeah, you can have found a map. Let me put all of that together for you. Oh. Control C. Come over here. Oopsies. Alrighty. This here is Lake Mount. Do you guys all see it on the map?
Yes.
Let me see what other stuff you find on the map as you're looking at this
Ooh.
map of the Versailles dynasty.
Get so much more then. The
I
lore.
have to dive into my physical map. Ooh, what a big map. Okay.
Cartography lore. Let's go.
One of the many abilities you gain as a DM. Cartography.
Cartography lore.
Okay.
Powerful ability indeed.
Alrighty, this binder is surprisingly heavy. Okay. Stay. Okay. So the map that you do find does show you the different cities in the Versailles dynasty. That one, and then you're going to find that one. Then there will be another one over here. And there's going to be another one right over here. Like what? That one. Then we go to capital. That's right. Okay, Now I just need to put their names in. Woot woot. So the capital you
Nice.
find is called Rose Hill.
Rose Hill.
We've got Oakenlight. We have Night Cairn. We have Steamwood. And we have Glimmerrock. Okay.
Nice. Cool. Well, once she has that information in as updated the map, I don't know how it works, then she'll head back. Slightly disappointed with what this library had to offer.
They had a lot to offer, but search results, man, they can get you. Yeah, I'm trying to see if there was anything else you would have gotten from that map. Was there anything else that you wanted, any other kingdom that you wanted to have looked into at all with that?
Well, I mean, this
All
is
of
not
them.
something you have to update now, but if she had the map, she would just like kind of like, ooh. She would look at all of them. But we
How
could
much
say
would
she
you-
looked at all of them. But
Okay, well, I guess this would more be like, since this is your player map, which would she write into her own map?
technically, Nuri would write all of them in. She has very fast writing. In fact, it's part of her class perk. She's a very fast writer. So if you want to update it in between sessions, I'm fine with that.
Over the
She would
holiday
just
break.
write all of them in.
I will add this to the list of things I'm going to do over the break.
Yeah,
for
she would
Rosemary
literally
Phoebe
just
Studios.
put all of them in. When she was like, she'd open the map and be like, oh, look at all these other cities I don't have on my map. I'll just write them in now.
Alrighty.
Just knock that out of the
Because
way.
this is a map of the main continent and the main cities, basically.
Yeah, she'd
So
only really be concerned about the main cities. So
Yeah.
not any of the like small towns.
like small villages and stuff. Yeah, all
You
of
know.
the ones written on here are like the main cities. There's like little villages and hamlets like nestled in between these and stuff, but
Yeah, no, she'd it's just big cities would be what she was concerned about.
Okay.
Yeah, and then she would head home. Well, head to the tavern, not home. My apologies.
Alrighty. Okay, you guys make it back to the tavern. Would you like me to keep it up on the map so you guys can look at what you have discovered in the Versailles dynasty?
Sure.
It'd be
This
good
party
for
actually has
reference
to
later.
decide where they're going, so
Okay. Alrighty. And the quest marker is above Lake Mount, so you guys know that that is where the you've been informed that the alchemist is.
Okay. So that marker's supposed to be a Lake Mount, not right outside Lake Mount.
And can you move the triangle that says you are here to Sunshield? We're not in
Oh, yeah.
Dragondale.
I can't believe I forgot to move that.
We cannot escape.
Thanks. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Perfect. So we're all back at the tavern now?
Yes, you guys are all back at the tavern.
Fantastic. So Dusty's probably been there the longest. As people come in, he just kind of like waves. As the party re-enters, he waves them down.
Well, Well, Nuri would definitely go sit by you and show you her map, her updated map. In the
And I'm going to say at this point, the entire party is seated around one of the little circular tables in the tavern.
Awesome.
Mars is sitting as far away from Nuri as she can.
Alrighty.
Douse is sitting as far away from Dusty as he can because he knows Dusty can make goats.
Dusty is sitting directly next to Nuri.
that was a joke. Douse doesn't really care where he's sitting, but that was.
Dusty's very enthralled by the map that you're showing to him. He's absorbing the information. He seems to be pretty familiar with pretty much all of these places. Not like super familiar, but he knows like some of the names seem familiar to him. He's like, I've never been there, but the names seem familiar. After a little bit of that, though, he kind of interrupts. He's like, hold on. We should figure out what we're doing next then. So any information about the alchemist or anything else that would be particularly helpful?
I mean, I'm still a little interested in what's going on with the mineral depletion, but that I think is probably going to come a little bit later.
Yes, that is a good question.
I've got no news on the alchemists that we haven't already shared.
Okay. And
well, I got more information on the alchemist. If you all pinky promise not to talk about it, I guess.
Sure. Dusty kind of like
Cool.
pokes his head up and like looks around the bar to see if there's like any open ears that could hear about this that he can see.
Make a perception check.
Perception time.
Would that be something we want to share in a little bit more of a private area?
21.
21? From what you can tell, no one seems to be paying you any mind. The tavern itself is known to have a lot of adventurers come in and out of this area. You actually see that there's another adventuring party down at one of the other tables. They seem to be talking about the next quest that they're going on. It sounds like they might be headed out towards Snake Wharf, and if you try to eavesdrop more into that conversation, I'll give you more. But and then as for everyone else, it seems like they have another person there that they're chatting with. There is what looks to be two men up at the bar as well that they seem to be drinking and having a good time with each other. It doesn't seem like anyone's too interested in listening to your conversation right now.
Well, we could go somewhere a bit more private, like say Douse, or I don't see too many people listening.
Well, I have a problem for that. I can solve this. She just opens her spell book, turns it around, it kind of like covers the top part of the page and like slides it forward so everyone can read the notebook if they so wish. And for anyone who reads it, this is exactly what it says.
I can't read Elvish. I can't read Sylvan.
I'll translate.
It's actually not in Sylvan, actually.
Oh.
She has written all her things in Common, which is probably not the wisest thing she's done, actually. Should rethink that.
Hey, she's smart.
She's drunk. She's drunk.
Wise.
That's true. That's true. She's smart. She's not wise.
Yeah. Yeah, Dusty will read it.
So this is exactly what it says. Atora is a winter elf. Made me pinky promise not to share info.
To also read that and instantly look at Nuri like.
And she's like, oh, she said I could tell the party. Okay, it continues to say, alchemist, Ray Nymph in Lake Mount. Basement of alchemy shop, super distrusting and won't open up / give info easily. Doesn't want to be found by certain individuals. And if you guys were quick readers, you can decide how quick of a reader you are to read the next line, but that's up to you.
He's probably pretty quick.
You would then see Atura doesn't prescribe to the court war stuff.
When he gets to that paragraph, he's like, he just kind of nods knowingly. All right.
Then after that, it's like the Grand Library of Sunshield and a bunch of numbers. And then the page ends.
At that point, he just like looks back up. Interesting.
Just saying, I love my notebook.
So we have.
I should buy you the Nuri spell book for Christmas.
And you guys can get the spell book too.
Hey, speaking of
check out the
Nuri's spell
page.
book.
Speaking of Nuri's spellbook, you can get Nuri's spellbook if you go to our shop on rosemarypgstudios.com.
Check out our website anytime.
Link in the
Yeah,
description.
so
Thought this would be
Dusty,
a huge hype session. No, it's just all plugins for our
plug it in, plug it in, plug it in.
Hey, great Christmas present for those who are fans of the shows. Just saying.
Yeah,
That and the mouse pad with the Harbingers. There we
we're
go.
I love that.
We're
Okay.
getting more and more shameless every time we do one of these. It's fantastic. All
You know
right.
what? Yeah.
So
just like my background.
Dusty, he's just like, you don't think we're like those people then, do you? I mean, it said they don't want to certain people, I think is the word they used.
Individuals, and she didn't. Atura doesn't know who those individuals are.
Oh.
I
Guess.
don't see why she would avoid my group. It's not like we do anything bad or anything. We're just a monastery.
Oh, you're referring to your monastery. Yeah, I was wondering why you said my instead of our. I'm like, interesting.
Douse is going through thinking of like individuals, like
Yeah.
we're still a group. We all come from like separate backgrounds. There's those backgrounds, the people she doesn't want to meet.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about my background. And then he kind of like looks up towards Amaris and Nuri. He's like,
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, maybe. I suppose we'll find out.
You don't have to tell her your background. That would just be ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's the plan then. That's our next lead.
Nuri looks a little deflated and she's like, yes, it's going to take a while to get there, though. And the library is not very helpful here.
That's a loud thinking sound. I don't know if you heard that. That's me debating on a high or low, and my debate has come to a conclusion. High or low, Sierra?
Oh,
low.
Hold on, I can whisper rolls, right? Hold on. I'm just
I
gonna
don't know if you can whisper them to specific players, though.
Boo womp. Okay,
I know you
I'm
can
just
whisper
gonna.
them to the DM, but
I'm just going to roll a d20, and it will not be secret. So you said low. I don't have any dice with me here.
Hey, that is definitely low.
That's like
what we
first
call
time
low
for Dusty.
Yeah, it's been a bit. So, you have a pretty high perception. I'm not sure about your
My
insight.
passive perception is a 20.
Yeah.
And my passive insight, I believe, is 15.
Okay. Yeah, you probably could interpret his movements a little bit, because he kind of like adjusts in his seat, and he says, I probably should talk to you too. You and Douse separately, but yeah, I mentioned that to Douse earlier though, earlier today. But we were going to talk tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more stuff. as if y'all needed more.
Yes, I want more. What is it?
And he just again he's already checked the room, but you see him like look up and around him. He's like,
Oh. Nuri nods and is like, I understand.
yeah, a little bit more. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, he's gotta go to the bathroom for a little bit more. Just kidding.
We do use the bathroom one.
Douse
Not for
realizing
its
that there's
designated purpose.
Not for its designated purpose, no.
Yeah, Dane.
I was gonna say, Douse realizing that there's something between you two that's going over his head is just gonna scoot close to Mars, like, hey, you've been a little quiet. Do you have any thoughts on our next move or how things are going with you?
Amaris is like kind of tapping her fingers on the table. Honestly, I don't know. I like there's something that I don't know if it's the right thing to do. And she's saying this quietly just for Douse to hear. I don't know if it's the right thing or time to talk about it.
Okay. I won't push. If you need to chat, I'll be here then. Did you still want to have any stick with the group as we continue into the next area then, or no?
Well, I've got nowhere else to go.
Okay.
Dusty has purposefully tuned out this conversation. However, I would like to ask if Mars's mouth was visible during this conversation. I thought they'd do the asking for Sierra.
This would have been while you two were talking about like what your conversation.
Yeah.
Still, Nuri just has to see your mouth, though.
Yes, Amaris was looking down as she was talking.
Okay.
So, high or low, Sierra?
High.
Well, I miss my board.
Traveling sucks, doesn't it? I'm just kidding.
That's 3.
Okay, so yes, you can see her mouth.
I can. She was definitely reading her guys' lips. Although you probably wouldn't realize it because she's like talking to Dusty and like looking at her book, but it's kind of like peripheral vision lips. She's so bad at this.
Oh well.
Douse doesn't even have long hair to hide his mouth behind or anything.
No.
Yeah, and Amaris's hair is pulled back into a ponytail, so it's like she doesn't really have it either at the moment.
Anything. Yeah. At this point, Dusty, he just kind of goes, well, I suppose if there's nothing else. And again, he kind of like looks up specifically towards Amaris, and he looks at her for a moment. You can't see his expression, so he just kind of looks
because
like
he's wrapped in bandages. Of course, we can't see his expression.
Just kind of looks like he's staring at you for a second, almost to an uncomfortably long degree. It seems more uncomfortable because you can't see his face, but then he just kind of like looks down again, and he's like, well, we unless there's anything else, we ought to be heading to bed. Before we do, though, I would like to have a quick chat with you, Nuri.
Yes, sounds good to me. Shall we go now?
He just kind of like shrugs. And he like says to Douse, he says, I'll be in the room in a minute.
Don't worry, I plan to go bake a pie real quick. I was gonna ask Natura if I could use her kitchen.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Amaris doesn't say anything. She goes straight upstairs.
Perfect. All right. See y'all soon. Dusty just stands up and heads upstairs.
Douse would make his way over to the bar counter.
Okay, you make your way to the bar counter.
Excuse me. Is there actually is
Yes.
there anyone at the counter?
It is currently the barman that you see most of the time. He's sitting there. Not sitting there. He was pouring drinks and cleaning tankards, and he goes, "Yeah,
Um, I was wondering if I could use your kitchen for a little bit of cooking. We're going to be heading out in the next day or so, so I was wanting to see if I could. It's hard to cook on the road, so maybe I could do a few things. Would that be all right?
well, we don't usually let anyone back there, but how much coin you got?"
How much coin do I got? 1 second. I got 5 gold. Sound good?
Yeah, that's good. Just make
Thank
sure
you.
you clean up after yourself. I ain't washing any more dishes after
Oh, of
you.
course. No, no. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of everything that I.
All right.
Scout's honor. We pack it in, we pack it out.
All right. He kind of lobs his thumb over his shoulder and he's like, "Get at him."
To also spend the next hour or so making an apple pie.
All righty. Apple pie. Okay.
If he can make two, he would make two, but I don't know how that would work time wise.
Did you get the ingredients for two or
I do.
you do?
I made
Okay.
sure to make track of what I
I'm
had
gonna
left
say
of.
it'll be if you're preparing them both at the same time, you'll have an hour for prep, and then if you can bake both of them at the same time, and that'll be about trying to think, because when I make pumpkin pie, it's an hour. But so yeah. So I'll say if you make them both at the same time, it'll just take you about a little over 2 hours.
Okay. A little over 3 hours.
Yeah.
Is it?
No, 2
Oh,
hours.
2 hours. Is it getting super dark or?
It is so it's late evening, so you could finish these and then go to bed and get still at least 7 hours.
Uh, yeah, why not? I'll make both. And then I will pass the torch over to Greg, who's probably meeting with Nuri right now.
Yep. Alrighty. Heading on over to Dusty and Nuri, who are currently meeting in Nuri's room.
Yup. Okay.
So
I-
once they get in the room, Nuri will immediately turn to Dustin and be like, "So is this about the alchemist, the library?"
Dusty gestures towards the bed to have you sit
She's
down.
super married,
Super
Dustin.
married.
It is a seat. He's done this before. This is not the first time, you
This
guys.
is true. She'll go sit down.
And then he
It's just
goes.
the way you phrase it.
He pulls up a stool. I should have pulled up the stool first. It's fine. He pulls up a stool. He sits down, and he says, "Not quite. I have some information that I have not shared with you that I believe might be useful in your journey to understand these coma patients. It may be helpful. And he like waits for you to get out your book and like get your quill ready and everything. He's pretty used to this by now.
Yeah, she does so.
He says, okay, from my experience, I know that you are not much of a gods and goddess person. Um, I'm not exactly sure on your whole religious views and everything, but I would like to share something from my past. I have been inside of the desert for quite some time, probably about. He actually like holds up fingers and like starts counting. He says, "Just a few years, 1, 2." Um, and I've been traveling there. And you may have recognized that this is where I found my magic, how I found my ability to tap into the natural magic that surrounds us, right? Um, but I discovered something while I was there, something that um, I learned from my friend, and he pulls a thumb up towards his wrappings and pulls down his wrappings to have Dusty come out onto his hand.
The
So Dusty
scorpion?
crawls, yeah, the scorpion. Dusty crawls out of his mouth and crawls onto his hand. And it just kind of sits there gently, and he begins almost inspecting it. And he holds it towards Nuri as he continues. He says, I realized something that goes deeper than just magic and the power to use it. Everything has magic inside of it, trapped deep in its core. Even Dusty here has a little bit of magic, a spark inside of him. And he like places him down on the frame of the bed, and then he starts looking around the room. He points to a desk and he says, the desk over there. Even that has a spark of magic inside of it. And he again looks around the room. He points to the wall. He says, even the wall, everything, every object, every creature, every being. He has Dusty climb back onto his hand, and he brings it like closer towards where his heart would be. He says, even my body, my frame, it is powered by magic. But even the parts themselves are powered by magic. Every piece all together. But it's deeper than this, even. All of this magic is tied to a entity. This entity is referred to, I believe, as the god of prosperity. Hafor. He is everywhere. He's inside of us. His magic is inside of the scorpion. His magic is inside of the wood that has produced this building. It is everywhere. And it is inside of those who have entered into these comas, their bodies, their people. It's different than a spirit. It's not quite the same. You actually see his shoulders like droop a little bit as he repeats, it's not quite the same. Either way, I figured you should know about this. I know you're not one for the whole gods thing, but I wanted to make sure you knew about this, that you could process what I have learned and maybe even use it. Does that make sense? He like cocks his head a little bit. Do you understand what I'm explaining?
So there's a little bit of magic in everything. And this magic is tied to the god of prosperity, the same god that we found a statue of in the desert.
He like nods, says yes, but it's that magic is at the very least tied. It may even be a part of him. I never got quite that far.
It's all tied to him, it's all a part of him, some way. But it's not the same as a soul. Is that correct? Like it'd be inside someone, but it's different than a soul. Correct?
I do not believe it is. I do not believe it is the same.
All right. Magic
But
is different.
isn't that wonderful? He says, almost like hopefully, he says, it means that everything is connected. We all have this light, this connection, this blood running through each of us. Even I, you and me, we have this same connection. And he's like, hopefully this is helpful to you. As he kind of like puts Dusty back into his mouth and puts his bandages back up.
It's very helpful, Dusty. And hopeful. So you're saying everything's connected.
He nods. He says, this is a bit of a secret, though. I personally believe that Hafor has shown this to me, and not necessarily me alone, but it is a very private truth, a very secret truth, for those who need to hear. And I believe that you are one of them.
Why do you think it needs to be secret?
He kind of like turns back towards the wall. He just looks for a moment and he says, turning back to you again, you recall how it is dangerous for people to know who I am, correct?
Yes.
The reason being the studying and the experiments that would be performed on me. The same goes for this truth. We must not try to desecrate this God. It is not something to take advantage of. It is a message of hope, not of acquisition. But I believe that your cause is just. I believe that what you are doing is the right thing. I do not believe these comas are natural. I believe they go against this God. I believe they go against what is right and true. I do not believe that Hafor would mind you use this information. Not for good. I believe he is a just God.
I mean, on a logical side, it can make sense. For instance, a lot of spells require spell components, which if everything had magic inside, you're just accessing the magic inside of the item to create the magical effect you want. So that makes sense. Which then, if diamonds specifically had more magical essence in them, could someone who has realized this be the one collecting them to do some big magic?
He shrugs.
It's interesting thoughts. Do some things have more magic than others? Naturally. Or not?
At the very least, A being like you, a being like me, we can both access this magic. We can harness it. I am a being made of magic almost entirely, aside from the physical bits, the metal and the wrappings. Um, we all have this power. Perhaps you're right, some more than others. A sorcerer gets their magic inherently, for example, where a wizard must train and seek it out. But a wizard knows more than one who hasn't even studied, hasn't even looked.
That's true. Poses a lot of questions and possibilities. And if you're able to find some way to measure such magic, then you could find the things that have the most magic potential, and you could use those to maybe enhance current spells, make new spells.
I would like you to ponder this. I want you to see to the end of this. I don't know too many people, but I can only imagine the frustration and the pain that one would go through having someone so close yet so far away. And he just kind of like, with that, stands up and he like brings his chair back where it was, setting it down, and he begins walking out of the room, turning back to say, think about it, keep it in your mind, and keep it secret. And he just kind of like nods. He opens the door and walks out.
Real quick, Nuri, how close is your room to Amaris's?
I actually don't know. She didn't know what room you were in until today. So I guess it'd be a DM question. Was she placed in a room near Amaris or not?
Yeah, you were placed in a room near Amaris.
All right, can I have both Dusty and Nuri roll perception checks?
Were you eavesdropping?
Maybe.
I love it.
20
Runs in the
sweet.
family.
8.
Wow, that was a really, really bad roll. Wow.
So with those rolls, I will let you guys know you do hear you hear something. Like faintly like a melody. Dusty, you can tell for sure it is a song, one that you have actually heard before on these travels. It is actually one that Dane would sing. The direction in which it is coming from is from Amaris's room. But her voice is a little shaky as she's singing it.
High or low? High or low, mate?
Let's go high.
Let's go high. Oh, high it is with a 16 out of 20. Okay. Dusty literally walks out of Nuri's room and he stands at the doorway for a second and like slowly closes it behind him. And then he turns towards where Amaris's room is and he just kind of like thinks for a second. And he walks over and he's actually going to knock on the door. Just hear just a gentle like.
You hear the song abruptly stop as there's a knock on the door. But it just goes quiet.
Keep going. Give me one moment.
Oh. Dusty waits for a minute. He just kind of stands there, waits to see if Amaris answers the door.
Nah, she's not answering it. She doesn't know who's at the door. She ain't risking it.
That's fair. I'm just gonna roll an insight check. If it's above 15, he will declare his presence. Nope, it's a 14. He just kind of like holds for a second. It's like, I said I would give her space. I said I would give her space. And he just kind of like whispers to himself as he like turns towards his room and walks over, heading inside.
High or low?
Let's go with I don't even know where we're at. I don't have my board. I don't know which one's been used more. We'll go with low.
That is most definitely a low.
Ooh.
You guys, that was a 2 out of 20.
Who had a 20?
As you're heading towards your room, you do hear a soft creak.
He looks behind him towards the door.
The door has opened just a little bit, and you could probably see Amaris peeking through.
Dusty just kind of like waves gently, and he just like he begins walking back towards the door.
She's still just watching.
He says, hey Amaris.
Hey.
I know I said I was going to leave you alone. He just kind of like walks up towards the door. He says, I believe I already said this, but I appreciate that you taught me how to sing. I appreciate that. Music has not been quite the same since I first met you. It means something now. I heard the song you were humming in the room. I appreciate it.
High or low?
That's another one. Put it on the board. High.
The imaginary board.
5. That's 5, y'all. 5 highs and 3 lows. Gonna have to call it out every time. Going with the high,
Going with a high.
Yeah.
That is a high.
And we're on a roll, boys. We're on a roll. Perfect.
Amaris is going to open the door a little more. I want to tell you what happened. But you've got to promise that you're not going to do the same thing.
Dusty kind of nods. Says, I promise. Yes.
And Amaris is going to open the door to let you in.
Yay. He heads on in. He sits down on the bed.
Amaris also sits down on the bed. You've seen me around a bit, just doing little performances here and there. I wanted to tell you why I'm out here. I actually ran away from home. Dane is part of a set of triplets in my family. And our other sisters, their names are Dahlia and Dune. I don't know what got into them, but they ambushed me out of nowhere. They tried to kill me. I don't know why this started. It just came out of nowhere. But I knew I had to get out of there if I was to live. And from that point on, Dane and Nuri were the only family that I felt I could trust at the moment. But now Dane's gone, and Nuri isn't the same. Heck, she even attacked me last night. I don't know what the right move is. I don't really have anywhere to go, but with how things have gone recently, I don't feel safe.
High or low?
We'll go low.
Okay, it's not necessarily a bad option. This was just for a very specific thing. Actually, was having to do with what he was going to call you. Um, he just kind of like nods understandingly, and Dusty reaches down and he places his hand on like the other side of Amaris's shoulder and just kind of holds it gently. And he says, "It's okay, Amaris. We'll be there. I'll make sure nothing happens to you. Not again."
Amaris nods. Thank you.
Can't believe your family would do that to you. Your own family.
And I don't know why. I know my parents are out there looking for me, and you know what, chances are that my sisters are too. And I'm hoping my parents find me first so that I can explain things and clear things up. Tell them what really happened. That song that you heard is one that Dane had been singing to me since we left. This incident happened only a few months ago. And I still relive it every night. And Dane would sing me that to help me calm down.
Dusty nods. Just kind of a knowing nod. This is another very high or low moment. High or low moment. High or low, Megan.
We'll go high this time.
Okay, let's roll. That's a 9.
Wow, the curse is back, guys.
You made it. Yeah, he
It
just
hasn't left.
he just kind of just tightens his grip a little bit and just kind of leans towards Amaris. He's just like, I'm sure you miss her. I can't imagine what that would be like.
Amaris nods again.
We'll find out how to get her back. We have to. That's what we're out here for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Answers. He just kind of goes silent again, just kind of staying at that moment.
And Amaris just like leans her head on his shoulder.
I do not believe that Nuri is your enemy. I can definitely see that she's going through some stuff. She's going through some very hard things. My father, Miles, he went through something similar. He lost his son, his real son. That drove him into a bit of a spiral. It culminated in me being created, forged from his own mechanical understanding, a bit of a project to keep his mind off of things. I believe that Nuri is going through something similar. However, I believe my father to be a bit more. And he kind of cocks his head a little bit. He says, he handled it differently. But the emotion is the same. Frustration, anguish. I wish I could understand better. All of you. I'm not the same as you. He actually brings up his other hand and he like holds it at his chest again. He says, if I could, maybe I could help better. If I was. But I just want you to know that I'm there. I don't understand everything perfectly. I haven't interacted with that many people, to be honest. He just kind of like shakes his head. It's like, emotions aren't really a thing my father taught me everything about. Basic information is about all I have about the world. But
Well, at least you don't have to deal with the emotions.
Yeah. Not entirely. You hear like an audible closing of his mouth as if he was gonna say something, but then he just doesn't. Uh, I'm here for you, Amaris. Don't worry. I'm here for you. And he just kind of, again, stays silent, just in the moment.
Yeah, she's not gonna say anything either.
Okay. So Dusty, he'll pretty much wait until he hears Douse outside. Like he'll hear his footsteps, and he'll at that point he'll say, "Well, I ought to go now. Uh, um, I do have to make sure Douse is all right too. Um, he got some pretty serious information from Nuri as well." And he just kind of like cocks his head to the side and like shakes his head. I really wish she'd trust us a bit more. It's okay.
Well, he's probably got his own things too. And when he's ready, I'm sure he'll open up.
You know, the whole thing about Way's got to be driving him mad.
Yeah.
Okay. And he just kind of like stands up, and he almost like brushes himself off a little bit, and he begins to walk towards the door, and he says, "If you need anything, just tell me."
Amaris nods.
And he exits. He closes the door behind him, probably catching just like the tail end of Douse, like heading into his room.
Holding 2 apple pies.
He just gives him like, let's see, he just kind of cocks his head. He laughs a little bit to himself.
So about that, one of the pies is actually put away inside of his bag for
Okay.
later,
In his baker's bag?
and he would be at Nuri's door, not his own at this moment, or the
Oh.
closest one to the
I
staircase.
see.
Alrighty, you head on over to
But
Nori's door. Oh, but you wanted a conversation with Wei first.
yes,
Yes.
because
Okay.
there's that whole like 30 minutes or whatever he's waiting for them to bake.
Yeah.
Therapy
As
and
you're
snacks.
as you're waiting for them to bake, and as Dusty and Amaris are having this conversation, you are sitting there waiting for the pies to bake.
You still there, Way?
You feel the presence come and just trickle into your mind. And she goes, "Always?"
So I'm not going to claim that I fully understand who you are, but I understand a little bit more now, and I think it's about time we talk a little bit about that contract.
Yes. What more is there to talk about? You've agreed, you've signed. Well, here we are.
Yes, but I don't really know the clauses of them.
Mhm.
For instance, there's two main questions which I feel need answered. Is the one, what am I giving exactly, and what am I getting?
Mm.
I mean, I understand I got a little bit of power to help out with my friends, which I am very grateful for.
Yes.
But
You got
It
contact
appears
with a goddess
I
as
did.
well, might I remind you.
I cannot express my gratitude more than feasibly possible. But that was that one instance, and to my understanding, this contract goes longer. I would like to figure out what it is that I actually signed, I guess to say.
Well, to let you in on what you have agreed to, I, eh, how would they say it in these modern days? A patron? I'm your patron at this point? Ah, in simplistic terms, you must do my bidding whenever I ask. Thankfully, I don't really ask for much unless the waves and the tides flow in that direction. But when they do, you must follow.
Is there any point in arguing with those? Say, should your command be something that I might hurt one of my friends? Would I have any say in that?
Oh, well, I mean, you can chat with me about it, but as of right now, I have no recourse with your friends. I mean, to be fair, there's not really many people that I would really want dead, if or harmed or maimed, you know?
True. It's more the point of negotiation that I was curious about,
Mm-hmm.
which you said that I could talk to you about it, which I appreciate.
You could, if there was time, but in the moment, if there wasn't, you would have to listen.
What are the, I guess, consequences for not?
Oh, well, from that, I'm sure you already have noticed at times when I wasn't watered quite enough. That's one of my requests. Is that
I
your
mean,
magic? Kind of got a little stifled?
okay. I'm mostly just dotting I's and crossing T's with those questions. So far, I find you very trustworthy entity.
Oh, how wonderful.
Um,
But
but
trust flows as a two-way river.
it does. So that covers the what is required of me part. Was it just that one spit of power that I was given, or is it?
Oh, no, no, no. You've gained power.
I
Powers
have,
that will grow over time as you continue to develop them. Powers that I grant you as you so choose to practice upon them.
and how am I to discover these? Because I currently don't feel any different.
You'll you can ask me, you can study up. Some feel it as a rush of waves crashing over them as they feel that magical power and energy course through them, but
Okay.
Mhm. Ever heard of a warlock, Douse?
I've they showed up in the history books as you've probably read over my shoulder.
Mhm.
So I have a general understanding of them, but I my
Let
understanding
us
of them is more of people who make deals with evil creatures, but you don't seem that evil.
No, no, no. But I'm not celestial either. And warlocks don't necessarily have to deal with nasty creatures. I don't really like nasty. I prefer the pure, clean oceans with life.
We can agree on that. All right, so better not let the pies burn, but I thank you for this. I'll try and think on some possibilities I could try out.
Yes. Just test around. You'll feel it. You'll find it.
Okay. With that, he'll go check the pies. One of them he'll put in his bag. The other one he's going to cut up into slices for each of the party members.
Oh.
And with
Then what?
plates and forks, he's going to go up to Nuri's room.
Okay.
Or the first person.
Which is actually technically the first person is Amaris's room, which Dusty just left.
Okay.
He actually comes out and he would see you. He was waiting for your footsteps. Actually, you might actually knock on the door because he was expecting you to go to your room.
Yeah, no. You knock on the door, be like, room service.
Dusty just kind of like looks back towards Amaris.
Amaris, like, she kind of like pops her head up and she's like, when did Douse start working here?
Dusty shrugs. He like reaches toward the handle and looks back towards Amaris, almost like looking for her approval that it is okay to open the door.
She nods.
He opens the door. Says, "Oh, howdy."
I guess she's not married. Anyways.
No. He's like he starts shaking his head. He's
no,
like,
no.
We were just talking.
Oh, okay. Well, I figured we had all been through quite a lot this past day, few days, weeks. I've lost track. So much has happened. But in my cuisine studies, I found pie to be a very comforting food. And so you hold this real quick. He'll hand you like the plate. I thought we could all have a slice. Would you guys like some?
Sure.
As you guys
Sure.
look at the pie that's been cut up, you notice that the lattice work on the pie is not the greatest, as it's still just like a first time pie. But if you do choose to accept the pie and taste it, it does taste very homey and very delicious.
It's the taste that matters, not the look.
Dusty doesn't take a bite out of his pie. He just kind of like looks at it for a minute. And then he just kind of looks at it. Like Amara starts eating the pie if she actually eats it. But
yeah, she eats it.
She's just kind of looking at the pie. He looks towards Douse.
I still gotta give Nuri her own. If you don't want it, you can give it back once I'm done with that.
Oh no, I appreciate it. Thank you. And he just kind of holds onto his plate. He lets you leave.
Knock on Nuri's door.
As soon as he's like around the corner, he like opens up his mouth and puts the pie in.
Just swallows the whole.
Pretty much. Putting his bandage just back up, making sure to wipe.
When you knock on the door, there's like a moment, and then Nuri opens it, and like she's like, "Oh, Douse, hi,
yes,
hi."
Yeah, he'll start going through the same spiel of like he's found this very comforting food, and he wanted to kind of help everybody out and give them a slice before bed. Would you like
Thank
some?
you, Douse. I would love some. As she takes the pie, you can see on the wall behind her is like magically written on the wall all these like equations and magical ruins. And on the floor there's like a bird.
Over his head.
On the floor there's like a little like a circle of burned ashes of stuff. And it looks like she was trying to alter a spell and it didn't quite work.
Just don't. I don't know if they would like scorch marks, but whatever you're doing, have fun.
It's not on the floor. It's just ash. I'll clean it up. It's
Okay.
research. It's for research. It's science. It's fine.
Can I roll insight on that to see if she's gonna end up somehow burning the house or the inn down?
Sure. Roll Arcana.
Okay. That is something I have no idea what Douse has for that. Would not be surprised if it's in negative. Oh, it's not. That is a 19.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, you can tell it looks like definitely like magical research is going on. It doesn't look like this ash, it seems to have been creative from like using some sort of resource to try and alter this spell. But from your basic knowledge of spells and whatnot is that if something is consumed, it will consume only that thing. Even if like it like catches on fire and is consumed and it's surrounded by like dry leaves and stuff, it will not light anything else on fire because it's just consuming that material. So you know that everything should be fine.
He'll let out a very slight sigh of relief, understanding that. Like, just go ahead and leave the plates outside the door when you're done. I'll come by and I gotta go clean them up anyways. So.
Oh, thank you, Douse. That's very kind of you.
Yes.
He definitely works room service here.
No, I'm just doing my job. I told him I would do
Doing
dishes.
the job.
Well, I'll just eat this. And...
Have a good night.
Good night.
I wonder how much magic a pie has inside of it. Ooh.
All of you get to roll 1d4 as you eat the slice. This one pie is magical, and I just wasted it this night, right before a long rest.
Epic.
Wait,
Epic.
you're serious? We get to roll
No.
1d4?
I
I'm
don't
like,
have
I'll
the
do
DM's
it.
approval for that at all.
I've got my die hovering over.
Message me about that next time.
Good.
Alrighty,
Good.
with that,
Through the
you
through
all
the power of
eat your
friendship, we all
pie.
heal.
You all eat your pie, you leave the plates out. Douse will go and collect them and clean them up. And you all can go and get a fitful night's sleep. And you wake up to the dawn of a new morning, ready to set out and head off towards Lake Mount on your journey.
Awesome.
Oh,
Does
and
Dusty have his
Nuri.
conversation at the beginning?
Nori, just a quick note from the map that you were looking at, you know that it's going to be about a 3-week journey to Lake Mount.
That sucks. Okay.
I see how it is. If Douse does not bring it up, then I'm going to ask for a higher low if Dusty will.
He would bring it up by the morning.
Okay. Just bring it up.
If you were going to do it earlier or not, but he'd be like, oh.
Yeah. It's like as they're getting up that morning. Okay. Dusty, you kind of like poke him. How do you do that? How do you ask?
Are we in the same room? Because previously he was in the room with Echo.
They consolidated.
Yeah,
rooms.
they did consolidate the rooms. So
Okay.
you guys are in a room together and the girls have separate bedrooms.
Okay.
Because Echo also didn't like sleep. He just sat on a chair.
Yeah.
What's basically going to happen is Douse will slowly wake up and then he'll bolt up and be like, oh crap, Dusty! I am so sorry. I completely spaced it last night.
Yeah. Dusty just kind of like mechanically like sits up.
So sorry. You wanted to talk to me. I apologize. There's so much that just happened.
Yeah, I totally understand. I totally understand. That was everything.
I have time now if you wanted to talk.
Okay.
Or it could be after breakfast or later.
If I don't talk to you now, I don't know when it's going to happen. I'm going to be honest.
I mean, I'm kind of fun. I find it kind of funny if you made it into the second.
Just like consistently, Douse just doesn't know. Everyone else does.
into the second season or so without knowing or something.
Yeah, no.
Season 2.
Season 2? Dusty would tell him though. He says, it's about time. It's about time you know. Plus, and he kind of like holds up towards the bandages on his face, the very bright pink bandages. You can see there's like dust beginning to collect on them, and you can see like a spot of the pie that you gave him that he didn't manage to get off. He's like, plus I do need to change these. But
He's gonna be looking at you a little confused.
let me explain.
Needs to change his bandages.
And he stands up and he gestures for you to sit down if you aren't already sitting. Might want to be sitting for this. He reaches over and he reaches into his bag and he starts pulling out clothes that he got from oh no, Tax's dad.
If you need
Draw.
to change, I can turn around.
No. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm just selecting my apparel. But I wanted to explain while I was doing it. Save time, maybe. And
Okay.
he begins like selecting. He kind of sorts through. He does it for a little bit. He just kind of like sprawls it out on the bed and begins inspecting them. He says,
This is appearing very odd to Douse because he's watching another man who's about to change clothing in front of him.
he says,
He's like,
so. And then he kind of like turns around, sitting down. He says, you recall when we were first getting to meet each other, I kind of snapped at you that one time. You remember this?
yes. I was a little too nosy and
Yeah,
completely respect your boundaries.
I
I
appreciate
didn't at
that.
the time.
Yeah, I appreciate the growth. But I would like to share with you why I snapped at you. If you recall, you made a comment about how every creature, I don't even know if you remember this, it was quite some time ago. Every creature has some attachment to the old. Did you say old gods? I don't recall
The
exact words.
primordials.
Primordials, thank you.
Yeah.
I haven't done too much research, just what I got at the temple. Anyway, I snapped at you because I wasn't exactly sure if I am. Through a little bit of time, I think I am connected, but in a different way than you might think. And he just kind of like, you see him kind of like tilt his head a little bit, sort of in like, he's thinking very hard about his words. He's like trying to figure out what to say exactly.
I mean, I understand. I mean, every religion has their beliefs.
No, it's a little different than that. It's a little here. Let me explain a little bit. And he kind of straightens himself. He says, my father was a wizard of sorts. He is actually very similar to Azon. You recall how Azon, he had this vast mechanical knowledge, correct? You yourself experienced the showers that he had produced.
Oh, those are so wonderful. Yes.
I am kind of like an advanced shower. I am a.
You don't produce water, my friend.
No. That's not what I mean at all. No. I'm more complicated than a shower. Well, you're more complicated. And he just kind of like puts his hand up to his face. He's like, no. That's not what I'm doing. It's mechanical. It's created. It's like
like a prosthetic.
Yeah. That kind. Yeah, you got the right idea. Like sort of like a.
Do they have prosthetics in this world?
They do.
Okay, okay.
Made it. Yes, he's seen prosthetics in the
Like a peg
Water
leg.
temple.
yeah, like a peg leg. Dusty's like, okay, so you know what a prosthetic is. Okay, that helps. That helps.
Yeah,
Imagine someone who was entirely made up of prosthetics. What would that be?
Um, a very unfortunate person who's lost every limb.
Okay, here, let me show you. Let me show you. And he just kind of like reaches up for a moment, and then he like stops and he's like, okay, you're ready. You're ready for this? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I still don't quite follow, but
I'll explain. Okay. I it's easier for you to see. You can see he like goes back, he like goes back and forth. He says, okay, just look. Whatever. And he like he begins pulling up his bandages to reveal his mechanical face. Um and
oh my
his
goodness, what happened to you?
his mechanical being. And he's like, see, that's the thing. It's not what happened to me.
I understand. I'm so sorry. That must have been a very horrible accident or
No,
whatever.
no. It's no, that's not right. It's not an accident. Okay.
But you said these were prosthetics.
Yeah, kind of. It's similar. It's really similar. Maybe I shouldn't have said prosthetics. The shower analogy made more sense.
At this point, Dusty or Douse understands you as a living being that has lost body part.
And you feel in the back of your mind Way, and she goes, "Oh, I was wondering when he would reveal himself.
Wait, you knew about this?
Oh,
It
I've
wasn't my
known about
business.
it for a long, long time. I got it from your friend's mine. Back when
Right,
back in the
right.
desert."
And there was a time you
is he
got
saying this out loud?
A little bit, yes.
A little bit. That's just like, are you talking to Way right now?
Sorry,
Tell him I said hi. That's an
she says
order.
hello.
Oh,
It's an order,
okay.
apparently.
Hi, Way. I'm glad you're here too.
Yes, very happy to be here.
All right. Well, either way, I am what my father refers to as, and he kind of like cocks his head. He kind of like thinks for a second. He's like, he actually referred to me as quite a few things. A buddy. I'm a buddy. I'm a he created me from metal, and I have no skin. I have no flesh. I have no beating heart inside of me. I'm entirely a being made of magical energy and steel. So maybe you could see where I'm talking about with the prosthetic thing, with the steel and the, like, I'm kind of like that, except instead of I'm magic. I'm a being of magic, closer to an elemental perhaps. But I have this, and he kind of like gestures to his face. It's almost like a shell.
Okay. He's trying to put two and two together because parts of what you said, he was kind of giving like a, well, yeah, no, like you have no skin right now. That happened from your accident. And then it was like, I came from metal. And that's where he's like, wait.
By this point, as he can see you're thinking, he starts like taking the wrappings off of his arms, which reveal completely metallic hands, to which he kind of like holds them up for you to see and inspect. He says, I know you're not
I mean,
Nuri, but it might be good to see.
he doesn't like he touches them, but he doesn't pay too much mind to them because like he understands that your body is currently made of metal. It's processing that you were never a quote living organism.
Yep.
That's what he's struggling with at the moment.
Yeah.
Douse.
Higher. Oh, go ahead, Way.
If you would but ask him if I could delve inside that mind of his, I might be able to help you understand.
I mean, I'll ask. Way is wondering if she can access your mind. It's completely up to you. I assume she can't force her way into your head.
You see him, he like pauses his like unwrapping process and he like looks towards you. You can see almost like this fiery look in his eyes. You don't see his eyes very often, but you can tell that there's like this almost passion as he says, no, she cannot. She's a member of the party. I do not, I'm not just, I do
I
not have
don't blame you.
disdain towards her, but she may not.
I don't blame you. It's
Tell him it does not miff me at all, does not bother me. I merely wanted to ask and peruse such an interesting man.
she was just very curious, and it doesn't bother her that you said no.
He nods. Bonus points as he continues unwrapping his wrappings.
Yeah, I don't blame you either. It's an interesting feeling having all of your secrets known to another being.
You see, pause briefly, and then keep going. By this point, he's got like both his hands free, and he's even like taken his vest off, which he usually has over everything, underneath which you see like entirely made of metal, like a bronze-ish steel color, gunmetal type thing.
So, how did you not rust when you came to the monastery?
I don't rust. It's one of the benefits of having magic inside of me. And you can actually see it's very intricate. It all has a sort of like sleek design. It is almost human-like, how all of the mechanics move around, and it doesn't make a sound as he moves. He says, I suppose it's built in.
This is amazing. I mean, I don't know much of what's going on here, but I can tell that it is very intricate in design.
Yeah. My father was quite intelligent. As he like sits down and starts taking the wrappings off of his legs too.
I mean, I kind of get the picture that you're all metal. So you have no memories of before being metal or anything?
No, just of my father. When I was created. And his assistant. I consider her my mother.
Got you. Well, I appreciate you opening up about this. I imagine it can't have been easy. High or low, Dusty? This is going to be whether. Yeah.
We'll go high. I think that's 6 now for those keeping track at home.
Okay, that's an 18. That was whether or not he's going to comprehend that you were actually you were created by someone as opposed to his previous understanding. It would have been funny though, going on further if you assumed you were a living being this entire time. Put into a robot.
Been good.
He says, he kind of like finishes taking the wrappings off of his legs. Now he's just wearing like cloth pants. And he says, I suppose it might be uncomfortable for me to change the rest in front of you. You
Yes,
flesh
very.
people have
You,
some disdain for this sort of things. I don't
I,
understand.
I. Maybe one day you will.
Oh, okay.
Um,
But I can take these clothes into the other room. I just wanted you to see. And he just kind of like holds his arms out, and you can see like entirely made of metal, head to toe. His eyes give off a slight green glow. They have a tint to them with small runes floating, almost as if they're in like a globe of water. And he says, I'll change the rest of this now.
yes, yes.
I do entirely forgive you, though, just to be clear.
I appreciate that. I honestly, I didn't realize that it was something that might have still bothered you, if it had. But
You see his face articulate into a smile. It does, again, doesn't make a sound, but he smiles and he says, "No, don't worry about it. Um, I was mad in the moment because I didn't have much experience around people. One of the first I met, actually.
really,
Yes, one of the first few, outside of my own mother and father. First handful.
well, regardless of your origins and your upbringing, you're still the same Dusty I know. I can see the emotions on your face, and that's the Dusty I know.
Thank you." And he bows his head a little bit with a respectful smile on his face. And he then proceeds to pick up the clothes he has selected, and he heads over to the changing area.
Douse will get out of his pajamas, whatever he wears, and he'll head out to go get breakfast. So I'll
Alrighty.
catch you downstairs.
Perfect. The pie was great, by the way. I can taste things. I just don't need to eat.
I had completely forgot. I'm glad you said that. I would have been worried whether he did anything for you.
No, it's just a joy thing for me. It tastes good. Or bad, I suppose. I'm mostly used to sand. And he just kind of chuckles to himself a little bit. Anyways,
Understandable. Then he'd head out.
good.
Alrighty. With that, you all head down for breakfast after Dusty you change and everything. You all meet and have breakfast down in the tavern. And anything else you guys would like to do before heading out and leaving Sunshield?
No, don't think there is.
So
What'd
we're
you
all in
say?
agreement, Lake Mount. Do we have transport?
No.
Do we want to search for any?
We could try to buy a cart, a horse. Anyone seen any in town? We did explore a little bit.
That is actually a wonderful idea. We have plenty of money. We can just buy a horse and carriage. Let's do that.
That would
Speed
make
up the
things
time.
a lot faster. Yes.
We'll go
Okay.
find a carriage and a horse. We'll probably need 2 horses.
Yeah. I'm going to say that after breakfast, you guys go around, and you guys have explored a fair amount of the city at this point. You can easily find your way to a stable master, um, as well as, thankfully, there is a cart salesman right next door to the stable master. They seem to know what people want. It is a big adventurer's town.
So are we buying a cart or are we just seeking passage?
Let's buy a cart. We're going to be traveling for quite some time. It's great for holding
Okay.
stuff.
Fair enough.
How much does a horse cost?
Horse and carriage?
Do you want
What's the
the
carriage?
do you want to go by the horses first or by the carriage first?
Let's do the carriage, because then we need a horse who's big enough to carry the carriage.
That's a
True.
fair
That is
point.
actually, yeah.
And if we can't afford a horse after that, we can just use Dusty and he can turn into a horse. It'll be great.
Yes, I have seen horses. Canon event. Okay.
Okay. How much does a carriage cost?
All right, you can go to the carriage place basically, and if you get just a very basic, simple wagon, that's going to run you about 10 gold. Um, but if you want to get one that has walls just slightly bigger, so a little bit more space, and it has like a tarp over it, that one is going to be about 25 gold. If you want to get the deluxe version, which is like way bigger, it's kind of like a little mini house almost, like kind of a shed. It's got a wood roof on it as well, with
Fantasy RV.
it comes fully furnished. Yep, it comes fully furnished on the inside. Um, with just like all sorts of different amenities. This one is going to be 50 gold.
How many horses does it need?
So the first one, the bare minimum ones, requires one horse. The second one requires two horses. Requires two just basic horses. And the deluxe one only requires two horses, but they have to be like large, sturdier horses.
Hmm.
And the deluxe one, it just has a nice roof, nice walls. You said it was furnished, but furnished with what, like beds,
Yeah,
cooking
it's
stuff, like
so
what?
it's got 4 bunk beds in there that are all like stacked. Well, not like 4 bunk beds, but 4 beds, so it's like 2 where it's like they fold up onto the wall and then you just like pull a string and they can come unfold down.
Travel shed. Don't trust it.
It's tempting, but would put a target on our backs.
It would. Got to be the second one.
Second one.
Yeah.
So you said that was 25 gold?
25 gold. For the
Nuri will
second one.
pay for it with 2 platinum and 5 gold.
And the person's like, okay. Happily takes your money and gives you the cart.
Gives us the keys. Let's go.
The keys to the cart.
Cuckoo.
This one does have a key on the back, so you can lock your cart up.
Are we
All right.
are we splitting the cost, or is it?
Oh, no worries. Let's go get horses. I've
Okay.
got money to
All right.
spare.
Thank you.
Nori's like, I'm rich.
She's rolling in the dough. She didn't even give away all her platinum. She's got lots of money.
I mean, Dallas gave away all of his platinum, so that's why he's like trying to be a little conscious. And like, hey,
Alrighty, you go to the stable master and you can look and see all of the horses for sale.
We do not have a
Any-
ton of time to role play this on an individual level,
Mhm.
but basically what I want to do is I want to ask the salesman which horses would be good for this cart, and then from that selection, individually talk to the horses and ask which one would like to come with us.
Okay.
I would love to role play that, but we are pretty close to finishing up. So
we can roleplay just a smidgen.
okay.
With that, the keeper, the stable master, as you're kind of like looking around at all these horses, he's like, judging for that cart, you're probably gonna want a good riding horse, a good draft horse. They're all gonna be in this section, and you're gonna find just all sorts of different colors, of horses and breeds. There are some that are very fine horses, like very large, and um others that are like mini ponies that you definitely cannot pull the cart.
they can pull
You're gonna
Dallas, but that's about it.
Yeah, you're gonna need at base minimum a draft horse, draft riding horse. And as you kind of like are talking around in their minds, most of them are like are kind of just vibing it here. They're like, whatever, whatever you would want. Um, Thank you, Sierra, for some common draft breeds. The Percheron, the Belgian, the Clydesdale, and the Shire.
Very schnazzy.
Very schnazzy. Um,
If we get the Shire one, can we name it Bilbo?
Nope. And
Bilbo.
I know we're supposed to
Um,
say yes and, but nope,
I will
not
say
gonna.
you do find one horse that has kind of like black fur, or yeah, black, it's a black toned horse um with dark uh, dark black hair as well, um that goes into, and it has like a little like white diamond up on its forehead. um And this one, as you kind of go and talk to it, it seems excited. It's like, get me out there. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Like,
See, what exactly are you expecting?
ah, I don't know, adventure, excitement. I'm just like, I'm ready. Yeah, just take me anywhere. I want to get out of this stable. I want to spread my hooves. Want to go.
Try and place. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's kind of like, yeah, like bobbing his head back, and he's like, I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's go.
She's just kind of like watching him. He's like, okay, awesome. Well, I suppose you're it. What's your name? Do you have one? Would you like us to name you?
I am currently horse number 5
Oh, I
because I
see.
was not named.
Yup. Okay. And he just kind of like turns to the guy. He's like, "We'll take this one along with," and he just kind of like points to another of the ones
Oh,
that were just kind of like,
could we take my best friend? Could we take my best friend?
"Sure,
It's
which one's
adorable.
your best friend?"
He kind of like nods his head over to a horse that just like has his head hung, and he's like, his butt is like facing you guys because his head is just in the corner. Um, and it's this like kind of dark pinto colored horse. Um, actually it's a Shire horse. We're gonna say it's a Shire horse.
Oh
As the
no.
as the chat on the side here saying, please let it be a Shire horse.
The excited one, to be clear.
Oh, the excited one
Shires
to be a
aren't paint horses.
Oh, okay,
They
okay.
don't have that color generally. They're black, white, or they'll have
Oh,
the
okay.
gray,
Then the
not gray,
excited
but
one
like
is a
brown.
Shire horse.
Okay.
All right.
The one that looks depressed in the corner
It's a stallion, baby.
will be
Dusty,
whatever the players say first in the chat over here.
Dusty, he like looks towards the horse and he's like, "I'll go talk to him real quick. How about that?" Yeah. And he's just like, "Could I?" He turns back to the salesman. He's like, "Could I get back to that one? I'd like to inspect it."
He goes, yeah, this one doesn't do much, but sure. You can head on and look over at that one.
Could it be a Belgian horse, please?
Belgian.
A
Belgian.
Belgian horse.
It's not in chat.
He walks over, cheating. So he
It does have to be a horse.
he walks over.
It'll be a
He
Belgian
walks
horse.
over, and he looks down. He kind of like crouches down to look at it in its eyes, and he says, "Hello. Do you
Horse
think
is
you'd be
kinda-
able to work well with horse number 5 over there?" He points.
Yeah, I work
Yeah.
well with him when I need to.
Oh. Are you two friends?
He says so.
Oh. Do you disagree?
Eh,
Okay. And he just kind of like pats him on the head.
He
It's like,
doesn't.
you ever carried something with him before?
Yeah, a plow.
Oh, good, good. Okay. And he just kind of like turns to the salesman and is like, "We'll take this one too."
Salesman's like, not sure if you'll get much work out of that one, but alrighty.
He seems
A
fine.
interesting pairing of horses you have here.
Like pats his hand on top of its head.
It just is like, uh,
Oh, I forgot to ask. Do you have a name?
depression.
Oh. Do you like that name?
No,
Okay.
it
Would you like a new
depresses me.
one?
Sure.
Okay. And he pats him on the head again. He stands up. He walks over to the front. Good. Just these two. There should be plenty to carry our cart.
Oh, the salesman is kind of like, alrighty, well, the black one over there, that one's gonna run you, about 20 gold. For this one, I'll give you a discount. The other one will be, let's say, 15 gold.
I will give him 3 platinum and 5 gold.
Alrighty, and the guy takes it, and he's like, alright, take the horses. And he gives
Douse is
you
like
also,
holding his hand out with some gold in it as if he was about to try and help pay. He's like puts it back down.
Never mind. And Nuri will also buy feed for the horses as well for the road. I don't know what horses need, but on a long road trip, who
I'm
knows?
gonna
We
say
might go
for a long road trip for feed, and then you also buying like tack and everything like that. For the horses, I'm gonna say that'll run you about 10 gold for all of that.
She gives him another platinum.
Alrighty.
And with that, you hear an audible clip of Douse's wallet closing because he had just lost his one last chance to contribute.
He's like, and fine.
It's funny.
Oh.
And then also Nuri would like to just, while they're leaving town, get a bunch of rations. But
Yeah,
that doesn't
I
need to
think
be
those
roleplayed.
are a silver piece per ration, so you can get as many as you want.
Cool.
A silver
100
piece.
rations.
Yeah, I think it's a silver piece per 1 day ration, I think. Just whatever it is out of the book.
I
So,
will do that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm done. Can anyone drive a cart is the next question.
This is a good question. I have real good abilities with horses.
I don't have any driving proficiencies.
No
So.
proficiency in.
Amaris's only experience was the sand mantas.
Yeah, I'm proficient in manta sledding.
Can nobody
Does that
drive?
transfer over?
I mean, we can
Well,
all.
because you're proficient, right?
Do you
I mean,
guys want
Douse
you
has
can
lived his life underwater, okay?
one of you guys can pay for a driving lesson real quick.
What if we all just rolled animal handling?
Nah, that's dangerous. I have high animal handling, so it'd end up being me, but
It's
that's
only
dangerous.
1 gold for a driving lesson.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll give him a gold.
Alrighty.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay.
He like turns around, holds up a hand, and like a gold piece appears. He's like,
Okay.
he, like turns away from them, just here you go.
He's like, all right. Let me go grab my great grandfather. He's the test instructor, and he brings out this old man who's like, so you're looking to drive the carriage, my boy?
Mm-hmm.
All right, this will be a perilous journey of doom.
Oh dear. Quite horrifying. Can't be worse than rabbits, I
Alrighty.
suppose.
So you go on this driving lesson where basically you take the reins of their test carriage, and he's teaching you as you go. Every now and then as you're like going around the city, he'll just start shouting. He'll go, pedestrian! And you'll have to like, oh,
Fantastic.
if anyone could guess what I'm riffing that off of.
Dear!
Yeah.
Nice.
Alrighty. So you finish your driving test and now you are proficient in land vehicles.
Perfect. We're gonna add that.
Alrighty. And I'm
Mhm.
assuming you guys stock up and set on out.
Yep.
Anything that you guys want to purchase at this time, just look at what the cost is in the player's handbook. You can find the list
Okay.
online and you can just buy it if you can pay the cost.
I would like to buy something, but it's specialty because I'm a druid. I'll talk to you after.
Oh, okay. Alrighty.
Okay.
I'd like to buy the powers of a druid.
Can I? Is that 1 gold too? Can I just?
Alrighty.
1 level for 1 gold.
Yep.
You guys start to head out. I'm assuming out of Sunshield, right? Okay,
Off
great.
Yes,
to
can
Lake
confirm.
Mont.
You head out
Lake Mont.
with Dusty at the reins. Because your cart does have a little door on the back that you guys can lock, the front has like a little window opening that also has its own lock on it. So you guys can like slide it open so you guys can see Dusty driving and you can hear him and he can hear you guys.
We keep that closed.
You're like, and we're shutting it. The front can fit 2 people comfortably, 3 if you squeeze. If you want to have people sitting on the front, it also does have like a little bit of an overhang to provide a little bit of shade. Otherwise, you're just on the inside of the cart. It does have a few windows in there that also close and open with a little lock on the inside.
Good.
And then you pile your cart up with food and you head on out on your journey towards Lake Mount. We're just gonna put you on a forest path.
Yeah, I know this path.
Shenanigan Road.
Are you all there on the path?
I am.
Have you guys named your horses?
I have not named my horses. I would divulge that they work together well and that they do not have names. And he, pointing to Depression, would like to have a new name. He finds his name sad.
Shadowfax for the dark horse, maybe? Or Trapper? I like the name Trapper. If we're going with names that aren't based off of TV show characters, that is.
Shadowfax.
Douse is not that good at names. He's just like Blake. Just like very simple names.
Blake.
Like Blake.
Henry, perhaps.
Henry, you can't name a horse Henry. I mean, you could, but like, come on.
Kyle. Like my friend
Matrix.
Kale. Like Kyle.
I'm bad with names. And he just kind of like,
That's all right. You guys have time. You can think about it.
nope, can't use that one. That one's dangerous. That could get us copyright claimed.
Milky Way.
It's a black horse, It's a black horse, and it's a black horse and a gray horse, correct?
Pinto,
Pinto. Okay.
No.
like a dark pinto.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't a right side up horseshoe a sign of good luck? What if we named
Mhm.
one of them Lucky?
The depressed one could be lucky.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually. I vote for that one.
All right, so
Does anyone? So we
Lucky.
got Lucky and Shadow Trapper. I like Trapper. Trapper's fun. How do y'all feel about Lucky and Trapper?
Sure.
I hear nobody saying no
Lucky
to
and
that.
Trapper, I
Lucky
like
and
it.
Trapper. Someone write it down.
Yes, please write it down.
Lucky and Trapper. Good.
Alrighty, as you guys head out on newly named Lucky and Trapper, you see that they are tied side by side, pulling your cart. Trapper has his head held high as he's proudly just trotting along, very uh happy and very like exuberant as he's just like you see him kind of like looking around as he's trotting along, and then Lucky has his head down and it's hung as he's keeping pace with Trapper, and he just seems to be slugging along. Very different, but they are keeping the same pace, which is important. Um, you guys continue along the road. And I'm going to say at this point, you guys have been traveling for about a day. So it's the next morning. You guys stayed, camped for the night, nothing happened. Next morning. Sound Gucci? Because
Yes.
travel. It was long and boring. In the morning, you are traveling once again. Dusty continuously going. And Dusty, you see off in the distance a man traveling along the path.
Don't pick up hitchhikers. It's a bad idea. Just say.
Does Dusty
Do we see-
recognize this man?
Um,
Additionally, Dusty has told the party by this point that he has told Douse about his person. To which
Wait,
I'm
you
sure,
guys knew?
to which I'm sure everyone else exhales sharply, and Douse responds in that manner.
you guys
Epic.
knew?
He probably also explains that, yeah, that was him after the fire that that Merilla was like trying to hide. Yeah, that was him. You actually probably recognized it. Yeah. He just kind of shrugs, you know. But yeah, does he recognize this man?
This man, you do not recognize this man at all. He is very like dark earthy tones, kind of like some leaves, like they don't look stuck in his hair. They look um like they are kind of almost like part of his hair, like these leaves braided in. Um Almost. It is difficult to tell from a distance. And he's got these two little like golden markings under his eyes, not like the elves or anything. He doesn't have like pointy ears or whatever. Just like what looks to be like kind of golden paint. Um as you come forward, he's wearing simple traveling robes, and has a bow on his back as he kind of like waves his hand over to you guys, over to you, Dusty.
Dusty kind of like nods. Is it like a hey, come over here type of wave, or is it
Yes.
more like a um
It's like
okay,
a hey, please stop kind of a wave.
Dusty like knocks on the back of the window, and he says, "Hey, there's a guy out here. Any recognize him?"
Does anyone recognize him?
Bunch
Yeah.
of faces, right? Just press up against the window.
All of them.
None of you guys distinctly like can recognize this guy. Except Douse, his robes do like look similar to your own, yet they're different colors. Uh, like they're a different color pattern, more like earthy. And Douse, you do recognize him as a fellow Genasi. As you guys do get closer, you recognize him as an Earth Genasi.
Uh, does it seem like his outfit is a uniform per se, or is because you said it looks like mine? So is it safe
It's
to
like a
assume it's like a
robe.
uniform?
Yeah, it's kind of like a robe, like how in your monastery they had like um they had a lot of robes that people would wear that would it was kind of like the common clothing of the monastery pretty much. And so for this one you can recognize it as it seems like it's robes that would be similar to yours as like the common clothing of your
Okay.
people.
Douse would then like he seems to be he might be from the Earth Monastery. I believe it's over in G.
Yes,
Uh,
Gi.
yeah.
Earth Monastery, you say?
He, can I roll insight to see if there's any threatening things about him? Because just like a quick glance to see if there's anything that might be
Yeah,
dangerous with him.
roll some insight.
Dusty, as you mentioned that he might be from the Earth Temple, says, he might have some interesting information on him
13.
then.
13, you said? Okay, for your insight, you don't really gather too much because you're unfamiliar with the Earth Genasi monastery Gi, as you've never been there before.
Mm-hmm.
But you've read about it a little bit. Um, and nothing looks too threatening about him. Just on a once over, you do notice like a bow on his back. It looks like he's been traveling. Um, he definitely looks more like a traveler than he does a warrior or a fighter of any sorts. Um, and it
Uh,
doesn't seem to bear much, but you still are unsure. It is still a stranger.
Douse would be like, he's probably on a pilgrimage as well. It wouldn't hurt to just see what he needs, in my opinion.
All right.
Nuri kind of rolls her eyes and like mumbles a bit to herself, and she'll actually start shoveling up all the rations she purchased and putting them into her bag of holding just to be safe. She's putting
Like, I
all
ain't
in the
getting
bag.
robbed.
Dusty does kind of slow down a little bit, and he says, "Hey, traveler, what is it? Do you need something?"
Well, not for myself. Thank you for stopping. Uh, as he comes just a little bit closer so that he can like talk to you. He goes, "You look like the adventuring type yourself. Are you and I'm assuming there are other individuals inside there.
Yep.
Um, are you an adventuring group?"
Yes. Why?
Well, I just came from a little hamlet, just a little ways that way. I've been trying to find some help for them, but it seems like the whole town has been falling into a coma just out of nowhere.
Nuri immediately is like outside the cart, like her head like out the window, like climbing almost over Dusty.
The whole
Well, you can't.
So Douse
You
would have been
can't like.
listening in on this as well, so you're climbing over him as well.
She's like, she can't get out the window, but like she's like out and like one arm like over Dusty, like trying to pull herself out. She's like, "You said what?"
Dusty's
Yeah,
like
so
trying
you
to
can
calm
get your
the horses.
you can get
He's
your
got like his
head in your
hands on the
arm.
rein.
Yeah, you get your like head in your arms. Like, what? Yeah, they asked me. There were a couple people who asked me to aid, but as you can see, I'm not quite fit for that. They have some sort of healer there who has some ideas as to what may be the resolve to it, but I'm not 100% sure. I didn't really ask. I told them that I would look for some help along the way, and well, I thought you all would be fitting.
Nuri's
See,
notebook and quill just.
I'm off on my
Yeah.
way to Nero, so
I see. Interesting.
Who's this person that is the healer? Who's that person? And what's your name?
I must admit I didn't catch their name. Once I saw that everyone was just dropping,
Yeah.
I kind of was like, I'd rather
Quite
not
a sight.
stay here.
Yeah, we can help. And he kind of like turns towards the party. We can help, right?
Yes, we can help. We can help. And she's like smacking Dusty.
Yeah, we've been trying to look into this sort of stuff. It's
Well,
honestly
then
would
you're
be helpful to us.
okay. Great. Well, then you're perfect for the job. They did say they were offering like a 750 gold reward for anyone who could figure out the problem and resolve it.
Pretty sizable.
Sizable, but I also like looking at Nuri over there. Just kind of
Nuri's like freaking
look
out.
up, the glare, kind of like, really, and then back down.
He does notice you, Douse, and he goes, "Hey, fellow Genossi, it's good to
Yeah,
see
yeah.
you."
You're
Yeah.
from Guy, aren't you?
Yes, I'm from Guy. My name is Claude.
Nice to meet you, Claude. I am Douse.
Douse, nice to meet you. Are you from Nero?
That I am. I'm actually. I was out on my pilgrimage and I ran into these folk and been with them since.
Oh, hey, that's amazing. I'm actually on my pilgrimage as well.
I was about to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Is things been going all right? Have you visited any of the other monasteries yet?
Not quite. I left Guy and made my way around the mountains to head on over to Nero.
Okay. Guy was going to be my first stop, I believe.
Well, we're just going around each other. Well, maybe we'll catch up at Photia.
Sounds good. You said Claude, right?
Claude, yes.
All right. But I think we should probably focus more on these comatose people right now. Were you just passing through, or have you been around here for a while?
No, just passing through. I came from. Let me look at my map. I was just coming up through the Kadora Kingdom, so I passed Swiftgate and or Ice Coast, Swiftgate, Basin Wind, and all of that. Are all of
Okay.
you guys visible right now? Are all of you guys looking out the window?
Douse is
I
clearly
am
visible.
actually going to have Sierra choose high or low for something.
Low.
Oh, I've been bad. Is that
Okay,
7?
you're good. You're good. You're good.
I'm good.
Like if you guessed low, and if it had rolled a high, I was gonna have it so that when Nuri was like climbing over and basically shoving herself through the window, she like kicked over Amaris. But you're good. You're fine.
That was awful.
So, Amaris, are you
Um,
looking out the window as well?
No.
Nah,
She's
you're
just
just
like
chilling.
she's just like kind of like hiding from the window, like plastered against the wall of the cart.
Alrighty, okay.
That makes sense.
He's like,
Wow.
well, it's
Okay. So you wouldn't have noticed if anything strange had been going on previously or different then,
different
would you?
from.
Well,
The
if
comas.
anything, yeah.
Oh, well, I
Or if the
literally just came into the village and like half the village was in a coma. It was really weird, to be honest. And
okay.
I met the village healer for a moment, and he was like, "Hey, any help you can gather or provide. And I was like, I will gather.
How far
Hmm.
is the hamlet? Specific
The-
directions?
Yes, he's gonna give you specific directions. On
Cool.
your carriage, you can reach there by the end of the night.
Cool.
Or not by the end of the night, like by nightfall. Like it'll be like dusk kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, we'll make our way that way then, and see what we can find out.
Sierra, are you
Wonderful.
okay?
Is this
I just
in-game?
had a mind-blowing theory about these comas,
Is this an in-game
but I'll tell you
reaction?
after, because that is
Okay.
not Nuri. She has not studied those. It's something Sierra has studied, and now I think I know what it is.
Hmm.
Never mind.
All
I
right.
am
Well,
very curious now.
thank you very
Um,
much, Claude, for the information. I suppose we'll check it out. We appreciate it. It shows that you've got some good character about you, being willing to seek help, knowing when things are a bit above your pay grade. It's a
Yeah.
good trait to have.
Well, I appreciate that. If there is anything I can do, just let me know.
Yeah. Awesome.
I hope that you all are able to help out over there, and I wish you the best of luck.
Well, you said if there's anything you can do to help, is there a reason you can't come and help?
Well, I'm on my way to Nero, and I
Ah,
will
yes.
admit I don't believe I'd be much use there in the little hamlet.
Understandable. Nuri's gonna lean into the cart and just mumble to Douse, be like, "You're more noble."
To be fair, I don't know if I'll be much help either. All I can really do is punch things.
Nuri
thanks for the
seems
information.
satisfied. She's
Yeah. Okay. Well, is Nero too much further from here? Been a
Um,
lot of walking.
you got a bit more. You're over halfway there, though.
Over
Keep following
halfway.
this road, you'll hit Sunshield. Sunshield, you should be able to take that off to not Dragondale. What's the other one?
Steel Glen.
Steel Glen. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sunshield, Steel Glen.
Steel
Okay.
Glen, Snake Wharf, and then it's just a quick boat ride, I guess.
No.
I swam, but you can take a boat.
Yeah, I probably will.
Okay.
All right. Well, I wish you the best of luck, brother. And
You as well.
he clasps his hands together and kind of bows towards you.
Douse returns it.
Okay. And he looks at the rest of you all and he goes, "Safe travels, adventurers, and good luck."
Same to you, Claude. All right, we'll get on our way. And then he takes the reins and has the horses begin going in that direction.
Are you reading the horses' minds at all right now?
Not their minds. I can understand them.
You
Okay.
can speak with animals.
Yeah, I
Well-
understand what they're saying.
Okay. Well, Trapper, like, is just so pumped right now. He is like, adventure. He's like kind of like bobbing his head forward and back and like doing a little bit of
I
like a
love him.
horse dance as he's like, let's go. And like Lucky's like, oh, okay. Let's go.
It's literally like we have Tigger and Eeyore. I'm just saying. It's literally like those two, their essence of their character, it's in the
That-
horses.
Is Creative Commons. We can use those names.
There we go. Alrighty. And with that, you head off towards this little hamlet in search of what could possibly be a breakthrough for the coma case. And on that note, we are going to conclude tonight's session. Sorry,
Yay.
it's not as long as we normally have it. there were some complications with starting times for pre-recording this session. But I do want to thank you all. With the holidays rolling around, if you guys would like to get Harbingers merch on our website, we do have a discount code activated. It is called all caps holiday D&D to get a discount on your purchase. So you can use that code to, and it's, oh yeah, I should probably say it's holiday DN, like the letter N, B. So if you guys want to get a discount on your purchase for those holiday purchases for your friends, you can use that to get a discount off of the product. So yeah. Happy holidays. Anything else from anyone of our players here? Sierra? Anyone?
Love you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next
Terrible
time.
cliffhanger, man. I
I'm
don't
gonna
want to
miss
wait.
you. I'm gonna miss
We will
you.
figure out the solution or the
The fire
ending
behind Sierra,
on
how she's
January
feeling internally.
19th.
Yeah, January 19th. We'll see you guys all back. Have a
Yes.
great Thanksgiving
And
Happy
Merry
holidays.
and
Christmas
Christmas.
and a
and New
Happy
Year's.
New Year's. We love
Happy
you guys.
holidays.
Happy holidays. Actually, guys, on number three, on three, we're gonna say happy holidays to everyone. Okay?
Oh, it's oh
One,
no.
Terrible.
2, 3. Happy
Happy
holidays
holidays.
from the Harbingers
Ah,
cast. We love you guys and have a wonderful rest of your evening. Bye.
bye bye.